Welcome back, everybody. We're 1 month later here, talking about WandaVision number 9 series finale. That's the title of the episode, was series finale. I was actually watching this with my mother-in-law last night, and she could not shut up about the fact that it's series finale. And I'm like, well, it's an MCU, like it's gonna go into the Doctor Strange movie, blah blah. But I have a couple of things to say about this. But before we start, I just want to say, one, it's not going to be the typical, please follow us on YouTube, blah, 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 which you should follow us on YouTube. Go like and subscribe. Follow us here on Twitch. But number one, Jimmy Woo wasn't a villain, and I'm pissed. I'm mad. Like, why? Why did they gotta go down that route,
Jimmy Woo forever.
Jimmy Woo forever.
Yes.
Two, I will admit that I was wrong. I called Hayward an idiot, but not a bad guy. And then I watched him shoot at 2 kids. And I was like, okay, no, he's evil. Get this guy out of here.
Can we roll that footage, manager? Or can we roll that footage of you saying...
Anyways, someone talking. I'll admit that. I'll admit that I said he's not a bad guy. He's just an idiot. But man, that hurt. I really was hoping that he was actually just like trying to do his job to protect the people. But honestly, he was just
a selfish prick.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. But without further ado, I'm gonna hand you over to the guy who called. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That was Matt. I keep thinking it was Nick, but it was Matt. Sorry, Matt called the fact that it was Pietro was just some random guy living in that neighborhood. That's so stupid. But he called it. Congratulations. But I'm gonna hand you over to Nick. What do you think? What do you think of this episode?
All right. So this is the second issue out of the whole series where I actually had to write down notes because I'm gonna warn you guys. I don't think anyone really liked this episode, but I kind of dug it. I kind of dig it. Like, I really wish there would have been more and we had some climactic thing, but obviously they kept outdoing us all season long. They had to underdo it. They're going to be underwhelming. There was no avoiding it. I knew it was going to happen eventually. But the way, so as you said about Pietro being some random guy, I did enjoy how they explained that and how this whole time, the last 3 episodes, I've been like, where's Agatha's husband that she keeps referencing? Where is this guy? Where is this guy? Well, he wasn't her husband. It was the guy that was Pietro the whole time, which I thought was like a very funny and like very clever way to use the actor from X-Men to be Pietro while also not being Pietro.
Hated it.
Because I didn't know how they were going to do that. How are they going to bring this character in that everyone knows is Quicksilver, him have the power to be Quicksilver, and then just be some random guy that happens to be this actor? The way they introduced it or explained it was really clever for me. Because I didn't think they would have a good way of doing it, but they were just going to leave it as a cliffhanger. Dude, I enjoyed that. I thought that was clever. The Vision fight, how it ended in talking, I thought was a very clever way to do that, and how they ended up in the library was really interesting. I didn't, what other place for 2 super smart robots or animals, whatever they are, just be floating around, spinning in a library, talking, discussing. I thought that was really well done. I thought this episode did a lot of things that I thought were very clever. The dialogue between Agatha and Scarlet Witch during the fight itself was underwhelming, but I liked the dialogue, and I loved how she used the rune trick on her, and then the final costume was phenomenal. And what else do I have? A lot of us said this, like, sprinkled throughout, but we said that Agatha wasn't going to be good or bad. Like, she's not the villain, she isn't the big bad. And I feel like we got that answer. She's not a big bad, she's a selfish person that wanted power. And it wasn't because she was going to like, oh, I'll help you, I'll control it, I'll give you whatever you want, whatever. She just wanted the power. She didn't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah,
We got the glimpses of the photon powers, and I thought that the ice cream truck slamming into the van was really cool. And at the end of that episode was the first time I realized the joke about how when Wanda turned the sword camp into a circus, it was basically a joke that the sword soldiers and everything were clowns.
Nuno was saying. Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Like, it didn't click in my head until she was like, I was like, oh, she just calling them a bunch of clowns. That was really, like, that just clicked as it was being undone. I was like, wait a minute. And then the 2 end credit scenes. I thought that was a really good way to wrap up the episode in the series and, give us cliffhangers, kind of. That cabin at the end of the second one looks really familiar.
Hulk.
Is it Hulk?
I was getting Wolverine vibes. I don't know why.
I couldn't understand if it was Hulk or if it was Winter Soldier.
And I was gonna say it gave me 2 vibes. It gave me Winter Soldier and it gave me Hulk, Edward Norton Hulk vibes.
Yeah, but that was in like the middle of like South Africa, right, or South America.
I just mean that cabin, it just gave me that idea. But when Manny said Wolverine, it fucking gave me Wolverine vibes, dude.
Yeah, from the movie Logan, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I got initially.
Yeah.
I liked how they tied it into the whole galactic stuff, introducing the scroll and saying, "Hey, a friend of your mother's wants to see you," and she's like, "Where?" And she just goes,
"Hey, who do you think that friend is? Do you think it's going to be either Nick Fury or Talos?"
It's not going to be Nick. I don't think Nick Fury was friends with the mother. Maybe,
yeah, he was.
But I have a feeling. I have a feeling it's got to be like a powerful scroll.
Okay,
I'm thinking the base that we saw, and the reason we all didn't like the sword setup and headquarters is because that's not sword headquarters.
Yeah.
The sword headquarters are up in space, and you'll never be able to see them, and that's why they were out of the sight of all the movies. And we'll see them in the future now. It's run by Skrulls, Kree, humans. Everybody's there that's working together.
There's a name. What's the sword station called?
The orbital. No, it's called Sword Station.
Is it a sword station? Yeah, it looks like a sword in the hilt.
Yeah, it's a sword. It's gonna be it's in space. That's basically where they're going, to the original what her mom made. Her mom didn't make that little headquarters stuff. That's like some fake shit that they made.
They could just be talking about Captain Marvel as well, just because Captain Marvel was the best friend of
the mother.
So, I don't know.
I thought it was Hollows, for real.
I was thinking Nick Fury, just because.
You're gonna pop up, right? Like from the corner?
I don't know about all that. Sorry to detract from you, Nick. Anything else you got?
No, I'm done. I'm at the end of my list. I was just talking about the end credit scenes. That's what I wanted to discuss with you guys is what they need, because I thought it was interesting how we zoom in and we see Wanda just sitting on the porch and she goes to pour more tea. She's drinking tea, and she goes to pour more tea. I'm like, what is going on?
It's not the same.
Just sitting in the bedroom.
It's like the Doctor Strange scene where he was sleeping, but his mind was still reading the.
Yeah, they're doing like Dr. Manhattan.
He did
DC.
An astral projection.
Yeah,
astral projection. That's the word I was trying to find.
And then you hear the kids screaming. So I feel like that's going to tie into the Doctor Strange movie.
So before you hand it off to Carlo, just to put you kind of in the spot, what was your favorite part of the series, of this episode? What was your favorite part
of this episode? I think the kids, when they stopped all the bullets and they knocked all the guys out. I liked that, and I liked the parts of the fight scenes between Wanda and Agatha and Vision and White Vision. And I'm excited to see where White Vision went.
Carlo?
All right. Carlo, take it.
All right, I'll take it. So I was so excited when Pietro was like again in the scene. So I didn't. I felt like I was let down. It's just some random guy named Ralph Boner. It's like what? Like no, I wanted X-Men Pietro. I didn't want some random dude. Like what is this? So this is my face when I found out that it was just a random dude. But I did like that Ralph is explained because throughout the whole season, I was thinking, who the hell is Ralph? Is it the stupid bunny? Is it the mailman? Is it who's Ralph? Is it Mephisto? Like I didn't know, and it's the person that lived in that house, Ralph, the husband. So yeah, to that, but big disappointed because I really wanted X-Men Pietro. So I really liked that Wanda acknowledges that Agatha taught her something, like in the comic books, because in the comic books, Agatha is a mentor to Wanda. And I was like, oh, come on. There has to be at least some reference because it's comic book. It's like literature. It's scripture. And so when she said, oh, thank you for teaching me that, I was like, yes, I like that reference. And also like that she used Agatha's own trick on her, like oh that's the what she had in her basement, and so Agatha. So when she had that whole song, it was Agatha all along, and it's like, wait a minute, that they're not Disney's not gonna or Marvel whatever, they're not gonna just tell us. There has to be some other big guy or big evil thing. So I was really thinking Dormammu, and I was kind of upset that it wasn't him. Or like, I don't know, like Agatha isn't really that bad because she wanted to free Westville's residents. So I think it would have been better if Wanda was the villain. And we got a hint of that towards the end when people were like coming up to her and she was like ashamed of herself. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna go away to the cabin in the middle of nowhere because I've been a bad girl. So yeah, I think if there was more emphasis put on Wanda being the villain, it would have been better. Yeah, I would spank the crap out of her. Anyway, let's keep it PG. PG-13. So Photon, she is like Captain Marvel in like level of powers and badass. So when all she did was absorb some bullets, I was like, "What? You're a lot more better than that, Photon." I wanted to see some Photon badass and like her getting involved with helping Vision or helping Wanda, helping the damn kids, anybody. Photon, help somebody do something. You have all these special powers, use them up. But no, she doesn't know her powers. For two kids that would have been able to take care of it anyway. So she basically did nothing. Thanks a lot, Photon. I don't know. It's just a waste of powers.
The way I see it, the way I remember it,
just a waste of like good story writing. Just a fucking big waste of everything.
Well, it's going to open up to something, and she doesn't really know how to use her powers. She doesn't fully grasp them.
She just got them.
Negative. Yeah, she had a whole 5 episodes to figure it out. Boy.
You're right.
These superheroes in one episode, the next episode they already flying and catching airplanes and stuff. Come on, man, get with it.
You got a point.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's 5 episodes in the span of like a day.
Hey, look, she got a few hours, boy. She better get with it.
Yeah. So again, when she was fighting Quicksilver, like Photon, come on, you're gonna let a little boop knock you down, but man, whatever. And also, I'm not sure if I liked Pietro's necklace glowing. Like, let me use my Photon X-ray power so I can see what's keeping you under control. If it was like an Agatha, like a symbol, like something from the Darkhold book with that symbol, like, okay, this is where it's controlling you. But no, it's a glowing necklace. It's like, come on. No, another big disappointing thing. So at the end, when you have Photon going into the theater, I was excited. It's like, okay, this show is going to pick up and I'm going to be a happy camper. But no, it's just a stupid scroll. It's like, I didn't want a stupid scroll. I wanted Nick Fury. I wanted Reed Richards. I wanted somebody. But it's just a stupid scroll. It's like, what? No. Look, I wanted this person. it doesn't have to be John Krasinski.
You had that ready. You had that issue ready.
Yeah, because I had to make a reference because this is Archer. Archer is one of my favorite artists. Him and Phil. But anyway, I think it was a wasted opportunity. Oh, and like the big cameo was Darcy in an ice cream truck for 2 seconds. Like what? Darcy, thanks for smashing Hayward's truck. But that's it. It's like 2 seconds of Darcy. I don't
Debrief is
know.
for the week.
Have fun in jail.
That was a big cameo. I mean, I know technically it's not a cameo, but I want like a X-Men Quicksilver type of cameo, something that would make me jump out of my couch. But nothing made me jump out of the couch when the first time White Vision appeared, like out of nowhere. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna see fireworks. But all I saw was them play laser tag and a little forehead touch. Like, man, what a waste. I wanted like that action. I know WandaVision is a story. But come on. And that's what I liked about Spider-Man 3. You had Venom, you had this, you had it's like
Stop. All right, next.
No.
I don't know about you guys, but Spider-Man 3 was a good movie in my book. My comic book. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this disappointing.
I think this is the last time we see Carlos Corner. All right, just letting y'all know.
Episode 10. This is episode 10. Fucking you kids are 10.
Not anymore. Yeah, this one got like, I'll tell you later.
Nuno, what's up?
Hey, so yeah, I'm going to keep it simple and short because I'm not with all the details because all the details were very cheaply done in this episode. So I'll save that for someone else because I'm not with it. But I will say the CGI was horrible, guys. Come on, let's all be real. When Vision was the only cool CGI was like the falling scenes. Like when he hits the street, that's dope. Like he's like, he's like falling apart. So they got like, I guess, cement CGI right. I guess they really didn't get anything else right. When they're fighting with each other and grabbing each other, it's like, it really looks like fake. Like, the best scene of the entire series, I think, is ironically a Brightburn scene. It's when the little kid has the hood on and he has his eyes glowing and he's up in the sky and it's all like cloudy, raining and like smoky and an airplane is coming to hit him and he just hits the airplane head on. That's the same scene when Wanda's just floating there like with her eyes all red and she's all like dark. It's like a shot-for-shot scene for Brightburn. That's like a superhero movie if you guys have ever seen it. I don't know. It's pretty cool. Check it out. But that was a dope scene. Like, I love that particular scene right there. Very corny. She made her own ruins. That's obvious. Clearly, the entire time you were in her ruins. So little house shouldn't have even been active if you're inside of her ruins. So how can another witch make ruins inside of another ruin?
She didn't do the signs before. The ruins are the symbols, and Wanda didn't do the symbols when she made her hex.
Yeah, until later on. That's what she was throwing the burst and missing her.
Yeah,
she was drawing the runes on purpose.
That's that. If I gotta look into it like that, it's not meant to be. You know what I mean? But what I'm gonna say is kids super corny. Evan Peters waste of talent. Made him a boner joke, guys. Come on, man. Boner joke. You know what I mean? Like, I loved Photon throughout the whole episode, but like Carlos said, this episode she was poorly used. Definitely, like, come on, we could have given her like a killer ass role. Like, she could have been like phasing through Vision and shut him down, like absorb his energy or something. Like that would have been cool. Like, or he tries to fly through her. But overall, I mean, and again, the ending scene, another like DC inspired scene, like Dr. Manhattan walking everywhere. Now we got Wanda all of a sudden walking everywhere. So it's like, like spend all that money and no real creativity. And like you said, like, I don't know, man, I wasn't feeling it. Overall, it gave the whole series a great ending as far as the whole story goes. I mean, she 1 minute can't get over her losing her family, but like 30 seconds later, she's getting rid of all of them. I mean, I'm not going to judge, you know what I mean? To each his own. If you can give up your kids within 5 minutes, then you probably never had them, you know what I mean? But anyways, the finale was nicely rounded for the whole series. As a whole, it rounded it out nicely. I just had a lot of problems with like certain things, and I wish it would have just been, I guess, a little more That's about it. But I mean, it did round out the whole series. I will admit it. I can't lie. It did what it was supposed to do. It ended it in a way where you understood everything. No crazy cliffhangers. And I just thought it was weird. I just want to add this, that she was reading like the devil's book, the satanic book, because like she's into dark arts now. Kind of like weird, you know, but I just thought that too. Not a bad thing, but I just wanted to point that out. But that's about it, guys. Yeah.
So real quick, I forgot to ask this of Carlo, and then after Carlo, Nuno, and then everybody else as well. Like, but finish off with your favorite either scene from the whole series or your favorite scene from this episode. Carlo, what was your favorite?
So my favorite scene was when Pietro was introduced. That's the scene that got me the most excited. And like again, I love the camera work when it was like slowly going around the head, and had all this momentum built up, and it's X-Men Pietro, but at the end, it's not. It's just some random boner guy. Like, what a waste. You could have had so much other storyline or something. I don't know. It's just. But yeah, that was my favorite scene.
Mine had to be, I'd look at it as a whole, and it would have to be, I don't recall what episode it was previously, but we see it in the last episode when they fall in love, when they're sitting on the couch in the room. But I think it's in the same episode, and it's ironic that it's in the same episode, is when she gets exposed to the Soul Stone, and she falls in love with Vision. So she was always attracted to the Soul Stone. So like, you know, if Iron Man had the Soul Stone in his head, like she would have been attracted to Iron Man because she was always exposed to the Soul Stone and they had a connection. It bridged them. So that like sequence of scenes, I thought it was killer. Like showing you their real, like how deep their relationship goes.
Pretty interesting. I didn't think about it. Carlos, what was your review?
So for me, I was initially very worried that in 50 minutes they were not going to be able to wrap everything up, and that it was going to feel rushed, that it was going to feel forced. But it didn't feel like that at all. When the 50 minutes were over, I was thinking, where did the time go? But I think with the storyline, that they were trying to tell ultimately was told. We saw Wanda go through all of her stages of grief, and touching on the point that Nuno said, where she just easily gave up her kids and easily gave up Vision. I didn't take it as her easily giving it up. I took it as her accepting that she was doing damage to the people around her. And you saw that she came to that realization when Agatha broke the control that she had over the citizens of the people of Westview, and she finally accepted her grief. She had the closure and the moment that she needed to have, with Vision and with her kids, and she accepted the fact that she can't hurt other people in order for her to be happy. And that's why at the very end, when she had that scene with Monica, when she's walking away and everyone is staring at her, and she throws on her hoodie, where Monica mentions to her, she says, they're never going to know what you gave up for them. And what I really enjoyed about this episode is that we got to see Wanda end the journey that she started in terms of finally accepting the grief in her life. So I really enjoyed that about this episode. Touching on the CGI, there were plenty of moments during the fights and during the CGI that it was a little jarring, but immediately there were moments that were really good, and I loved seeing Wanda uh, finally get her suit and finally become the Scarlet Witch. So that to me is my favorite. Actually, it's actually my favorite scene in the whole show. Seeing that transformation, into the Scarlet Witch, seeing her uh, have her headdress on, like it was just epic. It was super epic, and I think that they did an amazing job with her costume. It pays tribute to the comic books, and it pays tribute to her being established as a prominent character in the MCU. So I really love that. Um, Another moment that I really enjoyed was the fight and the interaction between Vision and White Vision. I know that a lot of people like Nuno and Carlo are wanting a Michael Bay directed type of action scene between all of the fight scenes, but at the end of the day, the conversation that Vision had with White Vision and bringing up the idea of the ship of Theseus. When you think about it, Vision at the end of the day is a construct of the Mind Stone, and having a discussion and being able to reason with White Vision using logical thinking, using his mind, using the power of thought. I thought that was really brilliant, to be honest, and I thought that Vision's humanity was really shown in that interaction that they had, and that at the end of the day, I think that that's Vision's ultimate goal is to be as human as possible. So I love that interaction. Um, I also really enjoy
fucking library.
in a library. Like it's great. I thought that there's been a lot of amazing symbolism throughout the show, and I think that for the most part they've really done a wonderful job.
To your point of Vision, to your point of Vision trying to be like human. In the last episode, one of my favorite parts of that was when he laughs at something on the TV in the sitcom, and he looks at her like I guess for approval. Like that was funny, right? That was funny. I laughed, So yeah, I agree.
Exactly. And I really enjoyed now looking at the show in its entirety. One thing that really impressed me about the season is that if you think about it, Elizabeth Olsen played 8 different characters, maybe, like 9. She played various roles, and I can't think of an episode where she didn't absolutely, just nail it. From being, a 50s, 60s, housewife to, being a modern, parent when we got into finally like, the 90s, 2000s, from being, someone that's just absolutely overtaken by grief. And then in this episode, seeing her transform into into the badass, Scarlet Witch, and her feeling confident and powerful, she's just displayed this huge range of emotion, of acting ability, and the same goes to Vision. Even though we only got to see White Vision briefly, wow! I thought that seeing Paul Bettany play this like TV sitcom dad character, and then transitioning immediately into the Vision that we know, and then in this episode, seeing him transition into the White Vision, not showing emotion or showing anger, showing violence. It's just amazing to me, and I really appreciate the actors range, and I appreciate the fact that they were able to convincingly portray all of these different roles. So I love that about this entire episode and the season in general. Another thing that I enjoyed was the overall setup for the Doctor Strange movie and for what's gonna go forward. I'm perfectly okay that we didn't get to see Mephisto, that we didn't get to see maybe Dormammu, whatever, because like I've been saying for a while, this is a story about Wanda. This is a story about us exploring who she is as a character, and I feel like we got that. And now we get to see Wanda, with the Darkhold. I don't necessarily see that as her becoming evil and her wanting to, study dark arts and all that stuff. I think that because I have the reference, hey, you're the Scarlet Witch. Your story is basically in this book. I think that Wanda just really wants to find out, like, who am I? What does this book have to do with me? And the fact that we see her in her astral form, the way that we see Doctor Strange in his astral form, just cements her as being a true magic being, and I love that. And the fact that we get confirmation that she is a witch, she does, use chaos magic. It's just all of these, things that tie back to her comic book origins, and I appreciate that so much. I love it. And what's really cool, I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the picture of in the book in the Darkhold, the image, it's basically like a representation of her being in her astral form at the very end, with like all of the magic glyphs or I don't know, runes or whatever they are, and her like basically absorbing this knowledge, and it's in the form of a hex, and I think that's where all of the symbols that we've seen throughout the show, that's where they come from. So I feel like everything was just tied together very well. So those are all the things that I really enjoy. Oh, one last actual scene that I really enjoyed was the very last scene when Wanda puts the twins to bed, and she has that final interaction with Vision. I mean, it was touching. Like, yeah, is it can it be cheesy? Can it be corny? It can, but it didn't feel forced. It really didn't, and that's tying back to the acting that I appreciate from Paul Bettany and from Elizabeth Olsen. If you really think about it, it's heart wrenching. Her coming to terms with her grief, and I think that that's something that us as people, if we've experienced grief, I think that we can relate. That it gets to the point where you kind of have to accept what has happened, but it doesn't mean that you can't appreciate the memories and the experiences that you had. And I think that that's what Wanda took from that, and that's why she basically tells Vision that he was a representation of her love. And I think that this idea of Wanda and Vision truly caring for each other, I thought it was just a really beautiful scene, with her and the twins and Vision. So those are all my positives. Some of the dislikes that I did have, I really did feel a little, that it was cheap with the whole fake Pietro stuff. I get where they were coming from. I feel like they were being super meta about it, because that was one of the points of the TV shows, of having the TV show setting. So it was like super meta, but it felt cheap. It felt cheap. We all expected Evan Peters to really cement the fact that the X-Men, or that there's alternate universes. Not that that's not coming, but it just felt like a cheap shot because it hyped up everybody. I mean, it just hyped it. It got me super excited, and like everyone's saying, for it to be thrown away on like a dick joke, it
was a dick move.
It hit a nerve. The big cameo. I'm not super upset about that, because Paul Bettany did end up, owning up to the fact that it was a joke. The big cameo was himself, and from a hilarity point, it's pretty fucking funny. You know what I mean? Like it's funny. It's funny. It didn't feel as cheap as the fake Pietro stuff. So that was one of my big complaints. Aside from that, I really can't say that there was anything else. Again, more CGI here and there, but overall the fight scenes were great. The Pietro stuff felt a little cheap. And as far as the scroll, I'm not super big on I guess being upset about that, because I think that that's just a nice little throwaway that, hey, there's more coming to Photon, to Monica Rambeau. Could she have been used better? Definitely. Do I think that she was underused? Absolutely. But again, like Carlo, you expecting her to be like I guess Eddie, like
what are you, dating her or something? What are you, boyfriend?
Bro, I'm just saying, you guys,
what are you, some kind of tough guy over there, Carlos?
Bro, Nuno and Carlos are expecting Monica Rambeau to be like
a Rambo.
The equivalent, dude. The equivalent of Michael Jordan in his first season with the Bulls, already fucking winning a championship. Like, you gotta give her some time.
Come on, bro. If you're not going LeBron, if you're not going LeBron James that's straight out of high school into NBA, don't do it. Don't do it.
It took LeBron James forever to win a championship. I'm just saying.
What's that, Carlos?
And bro, he couldn't even win it for Cleveland.
You must be a Knicks fan or something. You sound like a Knicks fan.
In his first go around, he had to leave.
Like a Knicks fan over there, Carlos.
You say
they had 5 episodes of building up Photon. Ooh, she has glowing eyes. Ooh, she can do this.
Ooh, I got a contact on the mountain.
For her to take you in the gut.
This is not a show. This was not called Photon Vision. It was called WandaVision. It was not.
Hey, Carlos, let's just
romance, not a soap opera. If I wanted lovey-dovey stuff, I would read a book with fucking Fabio on the cover. But no, this is comic books. I want
my turned on telenovela. It would have been better.
Versions.
Thing. You guys are wrong. It's fine. I think that you guys are gonna go through your stages of grief the same way that one did.
I'm gonna phase everyone back.
Carlos, I got your back, Carlos. Carlos, I got your back. You guys are gonna regret that when the next cosmic movie comes out, and Photon, everything that they did right now is a build-up for that. And she comes flying out with an army of scrolls, and she kicks some ass. This is a build-up. It's a character development. You can't just introduce a. You know what? Look at freaking, the comics. A character is cameoed, referenced. They have their first appearance. Then they have a storyline, and then a story arc, and then they're a badass. It doesn't happen in the first issue. They don't introduce a character, and then you know everything about them, and they're the biggest character ever. You have to build it. We met this person as a child, then we meet them as an adult. We see them develop and get their powers, and now we're going to see the build-up of them into a main story where they are incorporated.
Every time I've ever been introduced to Damian Wayne, he killed a couple people. I didn't even know who Damian Wayne was. He already killed a couple people.
I want to fully really get you guys to understand. So Nuno and Carlo are our old heads. So for you guys to understand, what's her name? Monica did not get a montage moment, so she can't learn all her things. There's no montage. It is not Rambo. It's not Rocky or anything.
Rocky.
So with no montage, there is no learning. Sorry.
And how many issues was Damian in the story before he became Robin?
I liked him way more as Damian anyway, so I hated him as Robin. So
what do you mean? He was the Robin to Dick Grayson Batman. It was the greatest thing ever.
I'm telling you, when he was with the League of Assassins and his granddaddy and his mama.
You go tell that to Grant Morrison. I want you to come back to me and tell him
if he continued writing like that, he'd be in a better place probably.
So Carlos, what was your favorite?
Yeah. He did 3 giant volumes worth of Batman.
What was your favorite part, Carlos?
Yeah, and this is my favorite part. I have 2 of them actually. I mentioned her finally getting her suit, absorbing all that power, turning into Scarlet Witch. Beautiful shot. My second favorite scene actually happened in the same episode, and that's when. Wait, no, sorry, last episode, where you see her construct the house, and when you get that shot when it first goes into black and white during the 50s or 60s, she has like her dress, the getup, all of that stuff, and Vision is there, and the look that she gives him, and when Vision says Wanda, and they sit down to like start watching TV, fuck man, beautiful. Like it was just it was just great. And that brings me to my overall favorite, I guess, thing about the show and the scene. It's what this show has done, not just for Wanda, but for the MCU in general. I think it's proven that Marvel can do character development and they can do it well, and that they care about these characters and they care about the comic book origins that they have, and they want to pay respect and tribute to these characters. Um, I don't think that an argument can be made that there's been better development and a better focus on a character so far than Wanda and Vision so far. Let's be honest, Wanda and Vision have not been the favorites of many people since the MCU started, but I think that there are more people that are going to be willing to defend Wanda and Vision because of this show, and they're willing to defend, Hawkeye, Black Widow, the Hulk, maybe even Iron Man. To be honest with you, certain people, and I think that that's a testament to what this show has done, and that's what I love. That it really was a journey. We saw it from the beginning to end, and it made you feel. It wasn't just let's tear shit up, let's fucking have action. It had some of that, but this was a story. This was a character arc. And that's what I love about the show. So sorry that it took so long. I just had a lot to say about this episode, and there's even more stuff that I can go on and on about. But these are the main topics, and yeah, I'll just close it out with that. Nuno and Carlo are wrong. Matt, what's up, man? What do you got?